All right. Yes. Perfect.
Can we start, sir?
Yeah, just keep me on. All right. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today. And this is yet another Saturday wherein we try to learn something different from the experts in the industry, the pharmaceutical industry. Right. And this session will be recorded and recording will be available on YouTube. So don't worry, make a lot of notes. You can ask a lot of questions at the end of the session. And after the session, you can also rewatch the recording for your personal learning, and also you can share with others. On the YouTube channel, you will find more than 100 plus these kind of recordings with different options of pharmacy careers, medical writing, and various other research related videos. So welcome today. We have with us Rohit. Rohit, yeah, all right. So Rohit is, he has done MPharm from JSS College of Pharmacy, Mysuru, and then he joined Aurobindo Pharma, Hyderabad as a regulatory research associate too. So Rohit, welcome. Today, Rohit will be sharing with us his learnings during his MPharm and what led him to internships, his goals, and how he got into different kind of internships, what motivated him, and also shared his learnings during the process. He'll also share what regulatory affairs means and what general regulatory affairs professional in the industry does during a day's time, right? In a day, what regulatory affairs professional does. So welcome, Rohit. The stage is all yours. You can take from here and please share your story, and then we'll begin. So you can share the story either in the beginning or at the end, no problem. Let's try to learn something from you today.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the brief introduction. Good evening, sir. Good evening, one and all present here. Today, we are here to discuss about a typical day in a life of regulatory affairs professional. So, generally, we'll see what are the aspects, different aspects in regulatory affairs professional's life. What are the basic skill required to become a regulatory affairs professional? For some people, it's a new field. Like there are very less facts about regulatory affairs in outside the market, and in students life, like during college days, those who are not having any exposure to the industry, they might not have any idea about this field, regulatory affairs professional. So today we are trying to decode the various things. You can ask questions in between the slides also. So what are the points we are going to cover today are, so first we'll introduce what is the pharmaceutical regulatory affairs. Then we'll take a moment to search like what is the importance of regulatory affairs in pharma industry. Then we'll go to some technical things like how does RA maintains life cycle of drugs, like end to end processing of the drug, like from the launch of the drug till the withdrawal of the drug. So after that we'll see the skills required for regulatory pharma affairs professional. Then we'll discuss about a typical day, like what are the important aspects to which the pharma or regulatory affairs professional deals in an entire day. Like we'll discuss just a normal day. Then as I said, I'll introduce myself, like about me, what I have done till now, what type of internship I have gone through, in which market I have worked, and currently what I am doing. And at last, like a little bit from my experience, obviously my initial experience, how I handled the last days of life, college life, and how I got into the industry. So we'll discuss this all aspects. So, for an intro, regulatory affairs professional plays a pivotal role in ensuring the life cycle of the drugs. So, regulatory affairs professional will be dealing in all types of let it be drugs, medical device, biologics, and all other dosage forms. Their main role is to maintain the life cycle of the drug, like to maintain the drug in a particular country based on their based on the requirements of that country. So all of the countries, in case of drug, they are mostly dealing with the safety and efficacy of the drugs. So in the countries like United States and EU countries, European countries, the what are the regulations rules are very the rules and regulations are very strict with respect to the maintaining the safety of the drugs. So here the regulatory affairs professional, they will access the overall limits, what are the important aspects to keep the life cycle of the drugs active in the market, and they will launch the product as per the needs of the country. Then we'll start the slides. So pharmaceutical regulatory affairs, what is the main role is to development, manufacturing and marketing of the pharmaceutical product. One minute, sir. Uh, RA ensures the compliance with the regulatory requirements to guarantee the safety, efficacy, and the quality of the pharmaceutical product. So we'll discuss about the field pharmaceutical regulatory affairs. Generally, while speaking in a normal simple words, we'll say RA is a bridge between the manufacturing. RA is the bridge between the manufacturing uh, and the post-marketing surveillance. The regulatory affairs professionals, they are mainly work as a bridge between the pharmaceutical industry and the regulatory authorities. So they are nothing but the messengers between pharmaceutical regulatory authorities and what are the our local manufacturers. What are the new aspects, what are the new guidelines has been provided by the medicinal agency. The RA people will have to be updated about it, and they have to convey the same to the local companies like where they are working to fulfill the local bodies demand and to make the supply of drug in a continuous way. So RA ensure the compliance with the regulatory requirements to guarantee the safety, efficacy and quality of the pharmaceutical product. So we'll discuss what are the key responsibility of the regulatory affairs professionals. So RA professional develops the strategies to navigate the complex regulatory environment. So the word complex regulatory environments here, in most of the countries like Europe and US, the regulations are very stringent. So we call it as a highly regulated market. The countries like remaining countries like Japan, Taiwan, and all, they are come under the semi-regulated markets. And for the countries like India, Pakistan, and all UAE types market, they comes under the low regulatory markets. So as per US and EU, they are having very complex regulatory environments. Then what is the another responsibility? Preparing and submitting the regulatory documents to the health authority. We call it as a dossier. Then maintaining compliance with the current regulations and serving as a liaison between the pharmaceutical company and regulatory agencies. So as I told earlier, they work as a liaison between the pharmaceutical company and regulatory agencies. So why RA? Pharmaceutical RA professionals facilitate the approval of the ongoing compliance of pharmaceutical products, ensure the adherence to establish the guidelines, and participate in the regulatory submission and approval process. So, in industry, what is the importance of regulatory affairs in industry? Why RA? So, RA professional facilitate the approval of ongoing compliance. So, generally, in industry, the life cycle of drugs, like basically how industry works. On first thing, what are the previously approved drugs? So what is the main goal behind it? To maintain the life cycle of the ongoing products. And what is the next goal? To continue the approval cycle, means to target the newly discovered molecules or newly filing, to target the new filings, means to get the maximum approval of drugs, new drugs, to keep the cycle of the company. So why RA professional is important here? Obviously to get the new filings. So first aspect, to ongoing the uh, current filings, and to increase the new drugs approval for the company. So pharmaceutical professionals, RA professionals, facilitate the approval of ongoing compliance of pharmaceutical products. They ensure the adherence to established guidelines and acts and participate in regulatory submission and approval process. In short, RA professionals bring new drugs and medical device to the market while ensuring the highest standard of safety and effectiveness. So this is the main thing behind the role of RA and why regulatory affairs is important in the industry. Then how RA helps, how RA professionals do what they do. So we'll discuss the basic role. By keeping themselves abreast with the latest regulatory changes, they'll keep the most updated version of the drugs in the market. And there is a one saying, learning never ends in RA, because what are the things you are seeing 5 years ago will not be the same today, and will obviously not be the same in the next 5 years. Like we can take a normal example. Before 10 years, the thing used to be like paper submission used to be there. So in that case, the dossiers they used to have lakhs of pages based on different sections, based on different titles and all. But now the situation has changed. Now we are having different types of softwares, different types of modules, different types of things to make the arrangement of the things. So this is the basic idea about RA. We have to keep updated, and learning never ends in RA. So we'll discuss about the key functions in regulatory affairs. We have clinical trial application, then registration notification of dossier, post marketing surveillance, labs claims validation, advertising validation. Then we have advice, regulatory compliance, safety technical dossiers. So key functions of RA. About clinical trials applications. So this is for the new drugs. If you are discovering any new drug, if you are filing any new drug application, you have to take the clinical trials application. Then for the dossiers, uh, most of us will be knowing about the dossier. Dossier is the structure we have is the structure for one application for filing of a new drug. Okay, if it is completely new drug, then we call it as a new drug application. If we are filing for the generics, then we call it as a abbreviated new drug application. These are terminologies in US markets. So company sorry for the industry, for taking for filing any new drug, we have to complete the dossier about that drug, and we have to give the all prerequisites, all the data related with the dossier. Then post marketing surveillance for a company which are having a marketing of around 20 drugs. So they have to they have to monitor the post marketing surveillance of the drug. They have to check what is the status of the drug in that market until the drug is withdrawn from that market. We have to check about their life cycle. We have to check what are the new variations being filed, what are the new variation are under approval, what are the new variation which are ongoing. So each and every details, even small change, we have to bring to notice to the agency, and we have to keep it updated. So post marketing surveillance. Then label claims and validation. In a case of labels, let it be you are seeing any foil of a small tablet, take it as a paracetamol, or you are seeing the carton, that is the outer part of the outer, that front part we will see now. There also, we for that small part also, uh, we have around guideline for all the things, like which are the contents should be there in the right side of the label, then which should be there in the middle, what type of font should be there, like all small things, this code and manufacturing code, expiry date, we all will be having all the guidelines from the industry, from the regulatory authority regarding the labels and all. Then advertising validation, then advice, regulatory, what are the advice, new advice, suggestions from the regulatory agency regarding the we'll be having special types of drug, like some cancer medicines, some orphan drugs and all. So what are the new types of suggestions given by industry? We have to update, and we have to convey the same to the industries. So regulatory compliance, under the topic regulatory compliance, compliance is a very important aspect in regulatory affairs professional side, because they will be mostly dealing with the very normal changes in each and every phase of the life cycle of the drug. So compliance is very important. The review of information before submitting is very important, and safety technical dossiers. So these are the all key functions in the regulatory affairs professionals life. Safety assessment, common technical documents. So in my last webinar, I have discussed about the common technical documents. CTD is the basic structure of types of documents under which most of the industries now follow the CTD structure of the documents. In this, we will be having 5 modules: module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So module 1 will be having administrative sections, module 2 will be the quality overall summary, module 3 quality, module 4 non-clinical summary, and module 5 will be having clinical summary. So overall discussion about the dossier you can find out there, CTD. So these are the normal key functions, like a clinical trial application, post marketing surveillance, compliance, and common technical documents are the very important aspects in regulatory affairs professionals' life. So why RA is important? Pharmaceutical regulatory affairs play a crucial role in pharmaceutical industry by ensuring the companies to comply with the regulations and guidelines set by the.
Rohit, just a second. Rohit, participants, please confirm if audio is clear and slides is visible because one of you message it's not audible. Please type A if it is audible clear. All right, it is clear. All right. So Tejasvi, maybe you could just re-log in and then see if that works for you. All right. Okay. Thank you. Rohit, please continue. Thank you.
Fine, sir.
Yeah, fine. It's working fine. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll discuss why RA is important. Pharmaceutical regulatory affairs plays a crucial role in pharmaceutical industry by ensuring the companies comply with regulations and guidelines set by the health authority. So in a basic scenario, we'll discuss three different aspects: health authority, regulatory affairs professional, and industry. So what are the new updates given by the health authorities? They'll publish on their website in the various sources. Like for some industries, they'll be getting some mails, customized mails from health authorities. For some it will be like, generally they will publish on their websites. So why we discuss like, RA, in RA knowledge is always, we have to keep updated ourselves. So because during each and every day they might have updating the new versions of their information published earlier. So we have to convey all the guidelines given by the health authorities, and we have to apply it in our products. So first point, we'll discuss compliance with the regulations. How RA professional like compliance with the regulations? RA professionals are responsible for the keeping abreast changing regulations and guidelines issued by the health authorities such as FDA, Food and Drug Administration, EMA, European Medicine Agency, and other regulatory bodies worldwide. So generally, while considering, we have two important, most important regulatory bodies, FDA and EMA. FDA is for USA, United States for America, and EMA, it will handle the all the territories in which comes under the European Union, like 27 countries plus 3 European Economic Area. So these are the most stringent authorities, FDA and EMA. They'll be keep updating the changes regarding their guidelines. So RA people are responsible for the keeping abreast changing regulations. They have to keep the records of all the changing regulations and guidelines issued by the different health authorities. Then they are responsible for ensuring the compliance with these regulations, and it is vital for the pharmaceutical companies to gain and maintain the marketing authorization for their products. So RA professional, they are responsible to ensure the compliance with these regulation, and for pharmaceutical companies to maintain the marketing authorization for their products, it is very important to maintain the all the regulations and all the updates. It's very important to follow all the updates given by the industry. Then patient safety. As we are producing drugs and any drugs, medical device, and biologics, we are mainly handling with the health of that patient. So what is the most important aspects? Patient safety. So RA professional work to ensure the safety and efficacy of the pharmaceutical product. Now how it comes to the safety? So we have certain limits for each and every risk factor. Let it be nitrosamine impurities, let it be content of inactive ingredients, or any trace impurities and all. For all the these risky aspects, we will be having a certain limit given by the respective authority. If we, if that manufacturer's product found about crossing the limits or crossing the limits given by that health authority, then there is a word called recall. If they got to know about these things, they will recall the entire lot of the that products, and regulatory authorities may also charge some huge amount of fine. So because to avoid all these things, the manufacturers, they are very punctual and they are very careful about the, these are the guidance, what are the guidance given by the health authorities. So they are involved in monitoring and reporting of adverse event and implementing risk management plans to minimize the potential risk associated of the drug. So what are the potential risks associated with the particular drugs. Like some drugs, they'll be having some contraindications, or beyond limits you can't use it. So for to avoid these things, we have to monitor and report all the adverse event related to it, and we have to keep track of all these things, because while sending the new lot, you have to you can reduce some aspects related to the certain adverse event of that drug. So it's all about patient safety. Then quality assurance. RA is closely linked to the quality assurance, and it's responsible for establishing and maintaining the quality system that meets the regulatory requirements. So generally, RA, they have to interact with all of the all of the other departments working in the pharmaceutical industry. Let it be QA, then pharmacovigilance, packaging department, labeling department, everything. So they are closely linked with the quality assurance, and responsible for establishing and maintaining the quality system that meets with the regulatory environment. Then ensuring the GMP, good manufacturing practices compliance, is critical for pharmaceutical company to produce safe and effective products. GMP, good manufacturing practices, means what are the standard level of manufacturing practices, what are the sets of principles given by the regulatory authorities. It is mandatory, and it is very critical for a pharmaceutical manufacturer to follow all these things. So it's the responsibility of the RA professional to take a feedback, to monitor all the essential parameters are being followed by the our company or not. So to ensure all the GMP compliance, it's very critical thing for any industry in a safety point of view. So it's the responsibility of RA professional to have a compliance on all the things to maintain the quality of the drug. Then global market access. For any pharmaceutical company, getting access of medicine in multiple countries is the primary goal. Why it is important? Because they'll be having a single manufacturing site. If they are having approval of one drug in multiple countries, then it will be a beneficial for them to gain the more profits. So again, where the thing will come, first thing, regulatory approval, because getting approval in a particular country is the first task for any industry. So regulatory affairs professional helps companies to navigate the complex regulatory landscapes in different countries. They assist in obtaining approval for a product launches in various markets, considering regional variation and regulations. So there will be a research about any drug, like in which depends on countries. See, in some European countries, few drugs, anti-malarial drugs, they'll be having a wide scope, because their people will be getting affected by malaria again and again. So this is how they will plan for if they are going to launch any drug, there will be a market research behind any drug. Then the things will come to the regulatory approvals. So whether they are having scope for that drugs in the particular country or not, they will access. After that, the most important stage of in drugs life cycle comes is getting approval in that drugs. So getting approval in multiple countries is considered as a big aspect behind the success of any pharmaceutical company. So this comes under the global market access. So they assist in the obtaining approvals for the product launches in various markets, considering regional variation and regulations. So based on the regional variations, and based on the severity of the regulations, they will plan the regulatory submissions. Then labeling and packaging compliance. So regulatory affairs oversees the development and approval of the product labels and packaging materials, ensuring they meet the regulatory requirements and provide the accurate information to the healthcare professionals and consumers. So I'll tell you one thing, why the labels are most important in any pharmaceutical industry. Because labeling is the only thing which will come directly into the hand of the patients, and whatever they will see on label, based on that guidance, based on that what will tell the regulations and all, they will directly consume that drugs. Like we'll see some safety information, do not place it here, place in a store in cool and dry place. So these are very normal common guidelines. These are very common language written in the label, but it will impact the way they will take the dose, a patient will take the dose. So behind the one line there will be a complete set of guidance. Behind that one line there will be a complete guideline given by the agency. So for labels, we have various guidelines. What are the important indications should be there. Then how it should be stored, how it is hand taken. Then what about that score line? Generally, if you see the tablet, there will be line will be there in between them. So for mentioning that line also, we have to see the around 3 to 4 documents. So regulatory affairs oversees the development and approval of product labels and packaging materials, ensures they meet the regulatory requirements and provide accurate information to the healthcare professionals and consumers. So getting accurate information, providing accurate information to the patient is the most important task here. Post marketing surveillance. RA plays a role in post marketing surveillance, monitoring the safety and efficacy of the product once they are on the market. Reporting and addressing of any emergency safety concerns are crucial for maintaining public trust in pharmaceutical products. So it's all about the getting launch, getting approval for the it's all about the getting after getting approval for the any drug. It's important to maintain its overall life cycle. It's very important to maintain its safety and efficacy in the market once they are approved and once they are getting marketed. In the case of any emergency safety concern, it's very important to get it reported, so that we have the field like pharmacovigilance. They'll be keep on updating on the recent adverse event, adverse effect of any drugs, and they'll be completing the all the data related to the agencies. So post marketing surveillance. Then we have business continuity. A strong regulatory strategy and compliance help companies to avoid the legal issues, product recalls, and disruptions of their business operations, contributing to the long term success. So drugs for any drugs, maintaining the life cycle throughout, it's very important. Strategies should be there. Strong regulatory strategies should be there to maintain the life cycle of the drugs. For example, will be having one drug, paracetamol. So for one company, the validity of the drug will be having 5 years. So they have to keep on update, like they should file the renewal for that. They should compliance to avoid the legal issues. Suppose if any query comes from the agency, we have to solve it in the given period of time. Then about recalls, if any product is under the additional monitoring, if any product is there under the additional monitorings by health authority, then they have to, if any issue get reported, then company RA professionals should resolve the issues and should feel that should help in the continuity of that product. Then some we'll talk about the life cycle of the drugs, how RA maintains the life cycle of the drugs, and what is the role of regulatory affairs in the maintaining life cycle of the drugs. So it all starts from the filing of a certain drug in any one country. Suppose we'll consider we're filing paracetamol in Europe countries. So we are having target of mainly 5 countries. So first what we'll be doing preclinical development, clinical development. Then we are about to file a new drug application or marketing authorization application in that country. Then approval and launch, post marketing surveillance, and then after that overall life cycle management. So in first step, preclinical development, first we'll be getting the all the data related to the preclinical studies. If it is ANDA, then we'll be having all the data related to preclinical studies and clinical studies from the innovator drugs. So in pharma, we'll be having two concepts like innovator and generic. So suppose if you are taking any one antimalarial drug, hydroxychloroquine, so already innovator, they have developed the formulation. They have developed the drug 10 years back, and they have marketed in that European countries. So now for us, preclinical and clinical data we can take from that, because now it is generic drugs, its validity, its ends. So we, for filing any generic drug application in that countries, we can take use their preclinical and clinical data. Then for new drug application, we have to fulfill the requirements given by the authority, like we have to file a dossier. Then approval and launch. after completing the dossier and all the prerequisite given by the authority, we have to apply for the approval. And generally it will take there will be procedure procedure is there, like for Europe we'll be having a decentralized procedure for 210 days. Once we submit the dossier to the EMA, they will give the entire timeline once they start assessing our drugs. So approval and launch, it will take time. It is like around more than 1 year it will take. Then post marketing surveillance. So again, after getting approval of that drug, we'll be having post marketing surveillance for that drug. And this is how life cycle management works for any drug, from starting from the getting approval of the drug until the drug will withdraw from the market, will withdrawn for the market. All the life cycle we have to RA professional have to maintain. So we call it as a end to end, like from preclinical development and till the withdrawal of the drug. In between, we'll be having a regulatory compliance and audits. So while submitting dossiers, also we have to give the proofs, like our facilities, our manufacturing facilities, our technical facilities are up to the mark. They are as per the authorities concerned. They are as per the standards suggested by the authority. So in between audits, we have to keep them updated. And uh, so this is all about the life cycle of the drug until the withdrawal and discontinuation of the drug. Then skills required for the regulatory pharma affairs professionals will be having sound regulatory knowledge, attention to detail, communication skills, problem solving skills, adaptability, continuous learning, and global perspective. So sound regulatory knowledge. If you are working in a particular market in a particular section, so it is important to have all it is important to have all the information related to it. You should know the your work. Then attention to detail. Generally, in day-to-day life of RA professional, they will be not doing uh, they're not doing more variety of work. It will be like section specific and detail specific. like uh, you have to be very careful while filing any sections, because details are details are very important here. Communication skills. Then because you RA professional, they have to be in touch with the various fields in the pharma, like QA, packaging, labeling, pharmacovigilance, and all. So your communication should be up to the mark. Then problem solving skills. In day to day life of RA professional, there will be most of the problems uh, related to the product and their life cycle. So it is also important aspects. Then adaptability. Then why? Because due to continuous changing environment about the regulations, adaptability is very important. Then continuous learning. And RA professional should think as a global perspective, like what is going on in other countries, what are the recent changes happening in the world, what is the any additional monitoring is going on in any industries, what are the recent recalls, what are the new regulations given by the industry. So we have to think in a global perspective to keep updated ourselves. Then we'll discuss a typical day, how a general day will be there in the RA professional life, and what are the important aspects related to it. So first thing, strategy. While planning any day, we should have a strategy. We should have certain goals. Let it be a single day, or it is a 1 week, or it is 1 month. Should have a strategy about it. Planning, accuracy, review, and compliance. Deadline management. These are the some important points what I felt important till now. So strategy should be there. What we have to do, what are our goals for the day, what is, and prioritizing things, it's also important. What work I should do first, and what work I can manage, like time is there for that work and all. Then we have to plan according to the priorities. So strategy, planning, and accuracy. Before reviewing any work, accuracy should be there. Otherwise, to avoid the mistakes, the accuracy in the work will be there, should be there. And review. Generally, while submitting the final documents toward the agency, the most important work is review. So RA people, they are not only will be reviewing their own documents, but also other department document also, like documents received from the pharmacovigilance department, documents received from the QA departments and all. So RA professional should be mastered in the reviewing the document. Compliance, the word compliance suggests like our documents, or what are the work you are submitting, it's free from errors. So compliance is very important. One more thing, deadline management. Deadline is considered as the most important aspect, because for any work, let it be from the industry, let it be from the industry perspective or from the authority perspective, for every work deadline will be there. To manage the deadline, to do the work on time or before time, the proper management of the proper management of the work should be there. So strategy, planning, accuracy, review, compliance, and deadline management. So these are the aspects.
Rohit, we
Um,
lost you in between for a few seconds.
so
Uh, in
for
the
this slide,
previous
sir.
slide, yeah, in the previous slide, we lost you for a few seconds. Maybe could you summarize this slide?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Thank you.
So in the slides, we have discussed important aspects related to the typical day in regulatory affairs professional. It starts from the strategy, planning, accuracy, review, compliance, and deadline management. Why these all points are important? So we'll discuss. So as I told earlier, for strategy, before doing any work or any aspects related to the filing, related to filing any new variation or any new dossier, the strategy should be there. Which things we are doing on a priority basis, which things we can delay for the remaining part of the day. So based on the severity and seriousness of that work, you can plan your day. Then this is strategy and planning will work together. Then accuracy, we'll be doing work, like we'll be doing work on very specific sections, like not I'm the working in Europe market and I have responsibility to do the entire dossier. These things won't be there in industry. You will be being hired for a very specific sections of the very specific module. So your task is to make that work accurate and error free. So accuracy is very important in day of the regulatory affairs professional. Then review, uh, for a certain part of the dossiers will be having the documents from the different departments, like quality assurance department, pharmacovigilance department, and all. So there our work is only to review the document and to submit. But the word review, it comes with the one responsibility, like the more from your side, it's also it should be error free. If anything you find, you have to return that to the concerned department. You have to report the error to that department. So review plays a very important role while submitting the documents and all. Then compliance, to make your documents error free, it's the main task. So compliance plays a very important role in any submission. And deadline management, so deadline works internally also, like as per company's deadlines, we have to be updated and we have to submit our work before that. And also for some authorities, like some of the in between the life cycle of the drugs, the there will be like supplementary information, RSI and all. For that, they will be giving deadlines of 5-10 days. So between before that deadline, you should be able to submit your work. So again, deadline management is a very important aspect, and it's a skill for any professional. So it's all about the strategies, planning, accuracy, review, compliance about your work to make your work error free, and deadline management. These are the important aspects in a typical day of a regulatory affairs professional. So now about me. So what I did till now, recently I have joined Aurobindo Pharma Limited. It's been 6 months. Uh, so I have completed my M.Pharm, specialized in regulatory affairs from JSS College of Pharmacy, and after that I have interned for 6 months in Hetero Labs Limited in the departments of regulatory affairs. So during my course, we have gone through these subjects, good regulatory practices. Here we have discussed we have learned about the some guidelines and some regulatory practices. What are the GMP, GLP, GCP, and all. Then documentations and regulatory writing, basic things about that. Then clinical research regulations, what are the aspects related to the clinical research, then clinical trials and all, regulatory aspects of drugs and cosmetics, and then we have discussed herbals, biologics, and medical devices. So these were the important things and few subjects under that under the course regulatory affairs. These are like important subjects for first year. In second year, for initial 6 months, I have completed my internship in the Regulatory Affairs Department at Labs Limited, Hyderabad. There, I have worked in the Latin American region. Like I worked on the dossier for countries we called Latin American countries. I have worked on Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, and Peru. These five countries. And then I also worked in submission of documents for Chile market. Like for Chile, the roles and responsibilities were different. We had work on module 3. So there also I have worked during my internship. So the thing is how I got into the internships and all. So before finishing my first year, I tried in I tried approaching few companies, but getting internship in any pharmaceutical industry is very tough nowadays. So I got the chance to work in as an intern in Hetero, like our college had arranged it. So for 6 months I had internship and I had experience to work on these countries. If you have any question related to internships and all, you can ask in between slides also. Shall I continue?
Yes, Rohit, please continue. We'll take up all the questions at the end.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Then certificates and trainings. These are like from there is one company called Navita's Life Science in Bangalore. They had arranged sessions, workshop on submission of dossier by using Pharma software. And then one more like workshop on forms FDA 356H. It's initial form for any NDA, ANDA, and BLA application. So it was organized by our college. Okay. Then the another important point is interviews. What is the process, requirements, job roles offered by companies, questions, technicals, non-technicals, and recent trends in hiring. So I'll tell you about what are the aspects I saw in my like. I'm also learner. Like recently, I have joined. So what are the few opportunities I got? What are the few things I saw? So we'll discuss about that. So what are the things? The process, like generally what will be there before completing your degree, before 3 to 4 months, like last 3 to 4 months, you'll be having you'll be having curiosity about what will happen in next upcoming days. You'll be very curious and you will be like stressed about what will happen in this process. So these are 3 4 months will be very stressful and very important as well for any graduate or who is about to graduate. So in this case, I tried applying in various companies. Requirements by under the topic requirements. What are the requirements from the company? So in regulatory affairs, what the main challenge I faced is like for regulatory role, we'll be having competition from other departments also. And a company's perspective, they'll be taking students, they'll be preferring students, they'll be having more scope. Like suppose one student is have mastered in pharmaceutics and he'll be keeping some regulatory knowledge also, and I am there with the specialization in pharmaceutical regulatory affairs, and again applying in the for regulatory affairs department also. So there is a possibility company may prefer that other guy because he's having like he's having knowledge related to the pharmaceutics also do and filing and all also, and they'll be having experience related to the uh, they'll be having knowledge related to the their own field also, like pharmaceutics and all. So this is the main challenge I faced. And job roles offered by the companies. So in RA, generally we'll be getting a role as a regulatory affairs associate or trainee regulatory affairs for starting 6 months, and all. Then questions. So for a typical RA interview, we will be having questions in both section, like technicals and non-technicals also. So we'll be getting the questions from your specialization also, and what is the role you will be having after placing that company. So you should be ready in all perspective. For a fresher, generally we'll be having questions from your if you have done any internship, then if you have done any project like basically on your major and minor projects. So these are the important questions you'll be getting from the interviewer. And recent trends in hiring. Why I included this point is because companies are changing their trends nowadays. It's not mandatory. It's like I'm speaking only about the regulatory affairs. It's not mandatory like you should be having regulatory affairs specialization. It's not even mandatory you will be having any other specialization, and it's not even mandatory like you will be having pharmacist. I saw engineers also working in the regulatory affairs. I saw people from biotechnology background, BSc, MSc in biotechnology. They are working in uh, regulatory affairs department. Also in the industries like Tata, Elx's and all, they'll be having BTech and MTech students. They are working as a regulatory engineer, or some they're working on softwares and all, but obviously they are dealing with the regulatory authorities only. So this is how the trends are changing, so we have to keep updated about that. Now we'll discuss about the helping hands. What are the helping hands? Which things helped me in my last days? So here I have kept to 2 points as important. First one is networking, and second one I saw is the 5 a.m. club organized by our Manoj sir. So I'll tell you about my experience. Last year in the month of January only, I first time I talked with the Manoj sir. I have registered for the 5 a.m. club, and there I have met first time with the Manoj sir. So there I have seen this five important aspect taught by the sir. So here we'll mainly discuss about the resume. Sir will tell how should be the ideal resume, what should be the structure for that resume, format, like all from the basic aspects. Sir will explain everything. Then second, sir will tell about the SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Sir will access you able to make you able to access your own future, your own where you are lagging, what are your opportunities, what where you can become, you can motivate yourself, you can become ideal for that. Then career path. Suppose you are doing any course, anything. What should be the next possible things from your what are the next possible things will be there, what should be your career path, sir will be guiding you. Then professional connect, why it is important and how, and last how to be a star. These are important aspects sir told us in the 5 a.m. club. So I consider this as a helping hand during that part of my journey. So networking and 5 a.m. club were important for me time. So that's all about the session. If you have any questions,
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rohit. Could you stop sharing the screen? Let's go back to the Q&A.
yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, participants, in one word, please tell us how did you like Rohit's session? One word. Was it informative? Was it useful? Did you get some idea? Of course, these sessions are only for giving you a lot of ideas. Okay, we don't provide expertise here. We don't want to do that. The only option is to provide you a lot of ideas so that you can plan your career better. All right. All right. So let's see what users are saying. Ispita says, thank you for the session. Insightful, 100% informative, and ideas informative, mind-blowing, like end-to-end A to Z of RA, useful information. All right, thank you so much everyone for those comments. Love it. And Rohit, thank you so much for being here for the second time. In the first session, Rohit had discussed about dossiers, what dossiers are, and how to file dossiers, what software is used to file dossier, how dossiers are planned, who writes dossier, how dossiers are written. and all those different aspects of dossier creation. So if you miss that session, please do watch that recording on the YouTube channel. All the recordings of all these sessions are available on the YouTube channel. So you'll be able to get more than 100 plus recordings of past sessions. All right. So now let's take some questions from you. In case you have some questions, please raise your virtual hand on Zoom. I'll unmute you and then you can ask question directly to Rohit. If you're okay, you can also switch on the video because we love interacting and it is definitely one way of improving your communication skill. All right, so let's see if you have any questions from the participants in the group. If there are no questions, I'll ask some questions from Rohit. All right. So Rohit, first thing, okay, Diwakar, please raise hand with next to your name so that I can unmute. I see two of Diwakars. All right. So yes, I can see you now. All right. Ask to unmute. Yes, Diwakar.
No, sir, I'm audible.
I can't hear you. There's so much of disturbance. You look so different. What happened?
Hello, sir, I'm audible.
Some echo effect, Diwakar. Please log in from one device. If you're logged from two devices, it will be echo effect. Okay, meantime, we'll take question from Mutahir. Mutahir, you can ask question if you want to switch on the video. You are most welcome. You can do that. Mutahir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good to see you.
Yes. Sir, my voice is clear, sir.
Yes, loud and clear. Go on.
Sir, I had a question. Like, if basically, I'm from pharmacology graduate.
Mhm.
If I'm trying for regulatory affairs, would they consider me as insight of the person who is having a drug MPharm in a drug regulatory affairs?
All
If we
right.
both,
So first thing, before Rohit answers, I one small correction to Mutahir. Whenever you are saying that you are M Pharm pharmacology, don't use the word graduate because B Pharm is graduate and M Pharm is masters. All right. So you always say you have done M Pharm in pharmacology. Would you be qualified for this opportunity or not? All right. Don't use the word graduate there. All right. That's the first correction. Rohit, you want to answer that?
Yes, sir. Like it's not at all mandatory for at least regulatory affairs to have any specialization and all from regulatory affairs. The person from all specialization are working, like all backgrounds, even industrial pharmacy, pharmaceutics, pharmacology, even analysis. They are considered as an ideal candidate for the regulatory affairs. So it's not at all mandatory. Just the requirement is you should be having like sound knowledge or as per the industries as per that rule and industry concerns.
All right. Did you get the answer, Mutahir? No, you're on mute. So you need to unmute.
okay, sir. Sir, I had another question. So, what is the difference between regulatory affairs and regulatory writing?
Yes.
um,
Rohit.
like regulatory writing is a part of some sections. Like generally in model 5 will be having work related to the bio studies and all. So regulatory writing means medical writings plus regulatory affairs. I think sir can elaborate more on that.
Yes, I will do that definitely. All right, so we'll take both the questions from Mutahir. I'll just add my opinion here. Few things to remember. In any field you go, first preference is always given to people who are expert in the domain, right? So let's say if a company is hiring for regulatory affairs professional, and let's say if there is a M.Pharm pharmacology person and there is a M.Pharm regulatory affairs person. So first preference will always be given to the regulatory affairs person, all right? The candidate who has done regulatory affairs. Now let's assume that the regulatory affairs, the candidate is not interested or he is not qualified in the preliminary rounds, then the second option is the other person, right? So that is the first thing. Now, whether you have, if you have done M.Pharm, are you actually eligible for getting into regulatory affairs? The answer is yes. Can you learn regulatory affairs? The answer is definitely yes. All you need is to, just get updated with latest thing that is happening in regulatory affairs and understand the company's requirement. All right. That's the second thing. Now, your second question was based on regulatory writing. So if you see, whenever a product is launched, when I say product, it can be a pharmaceutical drug or it can be a medical device. Both are products, right? For patients' use. Whenever a product is to be launched, some writing has to be done for regulatory bodies, right? And this regulatory writing, this is called as regulatory writing, and it is done by people who are expert in that domain. Those people can be people from medical affairs team or medical writing team or even regulatory team. So Rohit can also, over a period of time, he can also become a regulatory writer because he is expert in regulatory affairs. Now he's also handling all the regulatory requirements. He has also filed dossiers. Now over a period of time, he can also become a regulatory affairs writer. Now, can Rohit become a regulatory medical writer? The answer is yes. Over a period of time, he can also become that. All right. So in regulatory medical writing, you need to learn more about regulatory affairs, understand medical part of it, and then write content for the regulatory bodies and different healthcare professionals. If you're able to do that, then you can be. All right. So I hope we answered that. Yes, no? Yes, no? You have one more? All right, go for it.
So, what is the difference between in medical affairs or medical science license and regulatory affairs?
All right, so these are all three different fields. I would suggest, you please watch the videos on all the three domains. If you go to my YouTube channel, there are two videos on MSL, Medical Science License Officer. They are basically, people from company who license between the company and the healthcare professionals. Okay, they provide medical information, they handle their queries and all of that. Medical affairs is very closely related to the company's profile, wherein they help the healthcare professionals, the patients understand more about the product. Okay, so they provide medical affairs, medical information to them. Right now, regulatory affairs we already learned from Rohit. So there are a lot of videos on these topics. Please watch whenever you are free, and you'll learn a lot of them from the experts within the community. All right. I just tried to summarize. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, let's go to Suhasini. Suhasini, you want to ask? Go for it.
Sir, as a fresher, what all areas we have to cover from before attending to the regulatory positions?
All right, so what is your qualification, Suhasini?
So, pharmacology department. From
M.Pharm
pharmacology.
pharmacology. M.Pharm pharmacology. All right. Rohit, you want to suggest something to Suhasini?
Yes, like before attending any interview, you must be getting some job responsibilities. So you should able to cover all the aspects. You should able to cover all the important areas of related to that. Suppose the job role is for Europe market, CMC. So you should know what is the entire structure about the European market, what is CMC actually, what are the sections. So overall aspects, see you have M.Pharm pharmacology, so you have a chance to get questions first from your subject for sure, for your major minor thesis for sure. After that they will move towards what are the expectations from their end. So first thing, your own course, your own resume will be your the first target, and another is all the aspects related to the job role. So it is mandatory, and along with that, you should have all the basic like what all the people will be keeping few concepts related to regulatory affairs, knowledge about the regulatory authorities and all. It is expected. That's all.
All right. So just to summarize what Rohit told, any company would prefer people who or candidates who are expert in their domains, right? So first is, if you want to be a right fit for the company, you should know what the company is expecting, and you should upskill based on that, right? So do not go and upskill on all the different aspects, upskill on what the company needs, and based on that, prepare for the interview. All right. Hopefully we answered that, Suhasini. All right. Any other questions? Diwakar, you want to come back? All right, so there is one question from Hasti. Session was informative. My question is, I'm searching for RA job but have faced issue that most of the companies require experienced hands. Could you suggest companies that hire freshers or any courses that will help me get through it? Yes, Rohit.
We can't tell like any companies that hire freshers have. It is the very important aspect that every fresher is facing every time. Like all the companies, they need experience and all. So courses and all, like it's nothing like any course and all. Just if you're getting chance to attend interview and you have knowledge regarding to that particular job role, it's easy to get job. But getting that opportunity, it's very difficult. So
Yeah.
this is
Perfect. Thank you, Rohit. For Hasti, I have few suggestions. I know a lot of you might have the same question in mind. One of the suggestion is to be more active on LinkedIn. Create your profile, stay active there, keep posting, keep connecting to people from regulatory affairs department. Keep connecting to your dream company wherever you want to work and follow the updates on the job. Connect with employees within the company and ask for referral. Only if you are connected and stay connected with the company employees for a long time, they'll refer you. No one wants to refer strangers, right? All of you agree with me on this? Yes, no? So, right. So if you don't want to be a stranger, you need to stay connected with companies and people. When you stay connected, there are very, very high chance of getting referrals within the companies, right? And these referrals will increase your chances of getting selected. Now, if you consider Rohit's example, Rohit was also a fresher. He just completed his M.Pharm, then applied through different company portals. He connected to company employees. He got referrals through a lot of people, including me, and we referred within the companies. And that is how his profile got selected, right? So if you want to stay connected, your chances of getting referral increases. If you don't want to do that, then you just become one another candidate for the company, right? And you should always remember that whenever a company asks for a vacant position, invites applications for a vacant position, there are thousands of resumes which are applied within the portals. Now, if you get referral within the company, your chances of selection is very high. But if you are just one candidate among thousands of candidates, then your chances of selection are very, very low. Okay, so these are some of the tips, and we in the previous sessions also we have covered a lot of tips for freshers who want to get into regulatory affairs. There are a lot of good experts, regulatory affairs professionals. One of them is Praveen, Naveen, and all of them have shared their thoughts in the previous sessions. So I suggest you connect with them also on LinkedIn, connect with Rohit also on LinkedIn, and see the different updates they're sharing on regulatory affairs. And when you connect with people, naturally you are known to them, and then chances of getting referral is high. All right. Okay, Diwakar, unmute. Which one to unmute? Now I see two Diwakars. That's a challenge. Uh, so you need to raise your hand. Okay. So how do you raise your hand? There are three dots next to your name. When you go there, you'll be able to raise your hand. Okay. So then only I'll be able to unmute you. All right. Now I got it. Yes. Diwakar, you can ask question.
Sir, I am audible.
I know what has happened now. You have logged in from two devices, I think. That's the reason there is so much of echo effect happening. Could you log out from one of the device and log in from one device only? Dinesh, you want to ask? Let me know. I have given an option to unmute. Hi Dinesh,
Hello,
good to see
good
you
evening.
after a long time. How are you?
Such an excellent session. Was like completely, as you say, end to end, like A to Z of regulatory affairs, starting from basic till the interview preparations. Low, as you say, like hiring trend change. Like nowadays, they are hiring from BTech engineer like that. But
Hmm.
like why they are not hiring related specifically pharma pharma background related. Like majority question be
Dinesh, sorry, could you just switch off your video because I think there is a network issue at your end. Please switch off the video and then try. Hopefully it will work. Now ask question. Try asking.
Now, is it I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible now. Yes, please ask.
Like I want to ask as you said like in India they are also joining as a military affair. Like I'm asking why they are not preparing like for a farm related candidate. Like I have also jobs, but last time like
It's not audible.
I'm so sorry, we are not able to. No, I just understood only one thing from this, saying that, why others are preferred in regulatory affairs and not pharma. Is that your question? Just, type yes in the chat box if that was your question. I could not understand anything else because of the network issue. Yes, that's the question. All right. So Rohit, you want to take that? So his question is, why companies are preferring people from other domain, B.Tech and BSc and MSc, and not just pharma guys. Is there any specific reason why it is happening?
It's like we can't say any reason for that, but based on companies, what companies demand and their level of satisfaction, if they're getting through that candidate, so they're getting chance. Why it is so? Like the knowledge regarding to the regulatory, what are the available knowledge related to that field? If that candidate fulfills the needs of that company of that role,
Absolutely.
if that justifies that role, then he will get the chance. My motive about from that sentence is most of the people are thinking like one of you asked which courses and all, they'll be thinking like any specialization or any course is very necessary to get into this field. Just to justify with the statement, I told like these trends are there in recent hirings, recent trends are there. So yes.
Absolutely. So, maybe I'll add few points here, based on my learnings also. For any company to hire a candidate, what is the most important criteria? The number one criteria is the candidate should fulfill the basic requirement of the company. That's number one. Number two criteria is the salary expectation, right? Now, if any candidate fulfills these two criteria for a company, the company is interested to hire him or her. I was interacting with another friend of mine from UK a couple of days back, and he was telling the same thing. In the UK also, people from any background can get into regulatory affairs. All they are looking for is the basic knowledge, the attitude to learn on the go, and of course, and to understand the company's requirement. So if you think that you are capable of all of this, then you can be a good fit for the company. The only requirement is follow the company pages on LinkedIn, understand their requirements, and keep upskilling. Now, some of you asked whether there is a course needed for this. So there are a lot of courses available. There are organizations like TOPRA, for example. If you go to LinkedIn, there are a lot of groups on regulatory affairs. Be part of those groups. And there will be thousands of learning materials available. There are, I think, more than 4 or 5 hours of content on my YouTube channel also on regulatory affairs and how to prepare for interviews and soft skills and communication skills, use of LinkedIn. So you can try all of that, right? Now, whether to take a course or not is totally up to you. How do you select a course? Depending on what skills you are lacking and what skill the course is building for you. That should be the deciding factor for taking up a course. If there is a course, go for it. Otherwise, you can follow all of these tips. Be part of groups, connect with professionals, follow the people who are from regulatory affairs, and learn from these guys. Okay. All right. So I hope there are no more questions. We answered most of the questions. Yes, no. There was one question from Divakar, but looks like he's not able to connect. Maybe we can take up the question later on also, no problem. So what I suggest all of you is please connect with Rohit on LinkedIn. He is very helpful and he'll definitely help you in whatever ways to get you into regulatory affairs. Follow the companies which are in the regulatory affairs domains and try to learn what they're expecting from candidates and upskill on those aspects. Today you have thousands of resources which are available for free. Don't have to worry. Just go to Google and find out them. If you don't find anything, just be part of these LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups. There are a lot of groups on regulatory affairs. You can be part of them. Connect with people like Naveen, Praveen, and Rohit on LinkedIn. And if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me as well. We keep sharing a lot of resources for you. One of the most important skill that is needed for any one of us is communication skill. So please work on your communication skills and improve your knowledge in the field of your your dream job, and that will help you to do a lot of things, right? So are there any more questions? Any final notes, Rohit, from you?
So, sir, one question is there.
Okay, nowadays, how a day's new bond trend is there? Is there a worth to join under bond for 3 years or like do an internship for 1 year at 10,000 per month? Okay, this is a very valid question. Rohit, you want to answer it? So his question is, many of the companies are asking for bond. Sign a bond for, let's say, 3 years and join the job. Another trend is, do an internship in this domain for 10 years, 10,000 rupees a month for 1 year, and then you'll get a job. So what do you think of these two trends?
Sir, it's like I also saw these trends are actually. Sir, it will be better if you handle this. Like if you have your
Okay.
opinion on.
So, I'll not talk specifically for, regulatory affairs here. This trend is, happening for a couple of years now. And this trend has been there in almost all the fields, right? So there are a lot of companies which will provide you training, and then they'll ask you to work for free for 3 months, 4 months. And after that, they'll tell you, okay, fine, we'll pay you some stipend for next few months. And then after that, we'll provide you placement assistance. So there is no guarantee for placement in any of these companies. All they provide is placement assistance. What is placement assistance? Helping you to connect with jobs, helping with your resume, and helping you with your interviews, right? So that is what they do it. So that's the part one. Part two is bond. Now, if the bond is clear, if the company's growth is, if they have mentioned the growth perspectives clearly in the in the bond, that you will be getting at least 20 to 30% growth every year, then it is no problem going for a bond. And if you really like the company, right? But otherwise, going for bond is not a good idea, right? Now, coming for the internship part, now there are, hundreds and thousands of companies across the globe. There are many companies which will not ask for any of this. They'll provide you the internship and then they'll hire you based on your expertise within the domain. So don't worry about all of this. If you are not interested to go for bond or go for less salary for internship, I would suggest search for, keep searching for good companies and progress with your learning, and then finally apply for the company that you like most, right? And then go for it, right? I hope I answered that. Anything else, Rohit, you want to add?
No, sir. That's all.
Perfect. So no other questions. Type NQ in the chat box if there are no questions. We'll meet in the upcoming session again. I hope this session was useful. So whether to go for bond or not, it is a personal choice. If the bond offers you a lot of growth opportunities, then go for it. If not, don't go for it. Internship versus free internships versus paid internship. Always go for paid internships. If you are not getting any paid internships, you should also go for free internships. If you can get some placement assistance, that is also fine. And keep learning, because this is something which will not which no one can take from you, right? So learn as much as possible, learn from all of these different experts in the domain. And there are hundreds of resources on my YouTube channel. Also, I've been trying to do a lot of work on this area to create awareness. And past 3.5 years, we have devoted only for this task, right? So every Saturday, it's a dream opportunity for all of us to connect with each other and learn from each other. So keep learning, and I'm sure you'll shine in whatever you are doing, right? And to all the 5 a.m. club members, if you are listening to us, then we are meeting tomorrow at 2 o'clock Sunday. So if you're not signed up, please sign up. You might have received the details in the group, 5 a.m. club group. So please sign up and we'll meet tomorrow. We'll discuss and we'll see how we can help each other. So when I say help each other, creating opportunities for each other, helping learning atmosphere for each other, this is what we are trying to do. And we hope to achieve that very, very soon. Thank you so much for all of your time, and keep learning. If any one of you is interested to learn medical writing, then I'm also conducting another session tomorrow at 11:30. So just message me separately and I will send you the link for that session. All right, it's only for people who are trying to get in as a fresher in medical writing. So they should know what to do. All right. So if you're interested, let me know and I'll share you the details. All right. So thank you so much, Rohit, for your time. Thank you everyone for your time. Basuraj, Shetan, Darshan, Dhananjay, Dinesh, Hasti, Mohammed, Mutahir, Rutuj, Suhasini, Yashwant, and all of you who are watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll meet very, very soon again. Next Saturday, tune in for something more. Next Saturday, we'll be doing a LinkedIn Live and we'll try to learn regulatory affairs, medical writing. So what happens in medical writing in regulatory affairs, we'll try to understand that. And next week, we'll have expert from the domain itself who will be speaking on that. So if you're on LinkedIn, if you're following me, please follow to get all the details of the session. All right. So thank you so much, Rohit, for your time.
Thank you, sir,
And
for the
I
opportunity.
wish all of you a wonderful weekend ahead. So if you're 5am club member, please join me tomorrow. Thank you. Final note for RA aspirants, keep learning and keep doing great job. That's all. Keep learning and keep showing, because if you're learning and if you're not connecting and showing to others, then no one knows you, right? It is important for others to know you. And for that, maybe LinkedIn is one of the best platforms right now. Okay, so connect with LinkedIn professionals and, help each other. That's very important. So if you find any opportunities, share with others and help with others. And that is how we learn together, right? All these years we have tried to help each other and learn from each other, right? So keep helping and keep learning, and that's the only way out. And more of you, when you connect with professionals in the domain and help each other, we can create a better community. We can create a better community of opportunities, right? And this will happen only when you show your interest and help each other. All right. So thank you so much, Rohit, and thank you everyone for connecting with us, learning with us, and we'll continue this learning journey. This happens every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. And first of Saturday is reserved for LinkedIn audio. So if you are following on LinkedIn, then first Saturday of every month is on LinkedIn audio. So next Saturday we'll be having a LinkedIn audio, and rest 3 Saturdays we'll be having a live, something like this. All right. So thank you so much. Take care. We'll meet again very, very soon. Thank you. Thank you, Rohit. And thank you everyone for your time. Thank you. Thank you.